Hey guys, today we've got a video that will get you just as hyped for the Resident Evil 2 remake as we are. We're counting down all the cool little details, touches and bits of trivia you might have missed that are going to make Resi 2 an absolute landmark survival horror game. We're talking things like unlockable outfits, bonus modes, story mysteries and more. Before we even think about getting started on all that though, I've got a mystery of my own. Are you going to subscribe to us by clicking on that subscribe button and ringing that alert bell to stay up to date on all our videos? Go on, put that mystery to bed once and for all by subbing. And now, without further ado, here are 12 amazing details to get you hyped for Resident Evil 2.
You don't just play as your old favourites Leon Kennedy and Claire Redfield in this remake. Right now, there are two more confirmed playable heroes to the main story. The first is Special Agent Ada Wong, who has an electronic visualizing device to help her crack puzzles. And by crack puzzles, we mean overloading circuits and being very, very reckless with electricity. The second new playable character is Sherry Birkin, who features in a section set in an orphanage, which looks absolutely terrifying. Plus, as if Resi 2 wasn't already scary enough, when playing as Sherry, you've got no weapons, and you're 4 feet tall. We can only hope that zombies are terrified of schoolgirls. Of course, who I really want to play as is the Sewer Gator. I mean, come on Capcom, I've been waiting 20 years for this.
Just to keep you on your toes, Capcom has made a number of changes to the layout of Raccoon City Police Station. For starters, there's a new locker room which contains all manner of juicy new gear, if you can find the codes for the lockers that is. And the puzzle on the statue in the main room is now more complex, featuring slots of 3 items rather than 1. There's an all-new enemy waiting in the sewers as well. I think this might be what happens when you flush your goldfish down the toilet. The police station's also much darker compared to the brightly lit original, providing the setting some extra menace and making your torch even more important. And finally, if you wanted to learn a bit more about one of gaming's most legendary locations, you can find a pamphlet explaining how the station was originally an art museum. That explains all the art.
It's not just the graphics and the setting that's changed though. There are even some differences to the way established moments from the original game play out. For instance, Marvin, the doomed policeman from the first game, has a much bigger role now. He doesn't just chill in the back of the room groaning, but instead spends his time in the station's foyer giving you gifts. Aw, thanks. He even saves you from certain death at one point. And remember the gun shop owner Robert Kendo? Before, he was a vital part of your quest to obtain the shotgun. But in the remake, the shotgun is located in the RCPD lockers, leaving Kendo to fulfill a very different role. What is this, upside down world? It seems anything is possible.
The Resi remake is introducing Leon and Claire to the concept of pre-planning. Yes, you can defend yourself from zombie attacks before they even happen by using one of mankind's greatest inventions, the wooden plank. If you've got one in your inventory, simply interact with a window and you'll board it right up, stemming the zombie flow and cutting down on the volume of undead in the police station. Thanks to modern games technology, there's no longer a loading screen behind every door, so zombies can follow you between rooms. Unless that is you use these wooden boards to barricade yourself in. Zombies can eventually break the boards down, but they'll buy you enough time to fix your hair and brush off all the zombie brains.
Speaking of brains, you're going to see a lot more realistic blood and guts this time around. Bullets eat away at body parts, with chunks of head flying off in all directions when met with a well-aimed shot. Every impact also leaves a mark, whether that's neat entry wounds on limbs or deep craters in torsos. Pull out bigger weapons like the grenade launcher and shotgun, and the walls will be decorated with little more than wriggling entrails. Capcom really isn't afraid of showing you a bit of the red stuff, which might prompt me to show them a bit of the yellow stuff. And by that, I mean vomit.
One aspect of Resi 2 that's flown under the radar a bit is the presence of adaptive difficulty. The game will alter its level of challenge depending on how much you're struggling. Capcom hasn't really gone into specifics on this, but if it's anything like the adaptive difficulty in previous Resi games, you'll see things like more ammo appearing and a reduction in enemy damage. It's basically a little helping hand if you're dying a whole lot. Of course, you can still play on harder difficulties if you want a proper challenge. One of the ways hard mode will challenge you is decreasing the amount of ink ribbons you get, which limits how often you can save your progress. Now, as someone who likes to be thoroughly tested, I know which mode I'm playing on. It will be normal mode.
Let's talk about those infamous bonus modes. Don't worry, Resident Evil 2 is getting much the same treatment as the 1998 original. Capcom has confirmed that it'll include both the 4th Survivor bonus mode and the much weirder Tofu mode. Never heard of these? Well, in the original game, the 4th Survivor mode lets you play as a new character called Hunk, in a short mission in which you must escape Raccoon City with the G-Virus. You unlock this mode by completing the game's 2 main campaign scenarios with an A ranking. But if you're a dedicated player willing to run the scenario 6 times in a row and grab yourself an A ranking along the way, you're able to unlock a special version of the 4th Survivor in which you play as a sentient bit of tofu. It's not clear how you'll unlock both these modes in the remake, but I do know I can't wait to see my favourite bean curd boy in 4K.
There's a reason Resident Evil 2 looks so good, and that's thanks to Capcom's RE engine, used here for the second time after its debut in Resi 7. Bonus fact, RE engine isn't named after Resident Evil, but because the engine's full name is Reach for the Moon, RE being the first two letters of Reach. One of the best features built into RE engine is the ability to scan in actual people and objects to produce near photorealistic visuals. For example, Leon's face is based on the impossibly handsome Edouard Badaluta, while in-game outfits have been scanned from handmade costumes. RE engine also uses advanced shaders to produce some of the most authentic human skin you'll find anywhere outside your own face. There's also dynamic shadows and lighting, casting authentic silhouettes as flaming enemies shamble around the room. All this comes together to make Resident Evil 2 Capcom's most visually advanced game yet.
Resident Evil 2's advanced tech has been helped along by an absurdly large team. NHK World, Japan's largest broadcasting organisation, reports that the Resi 2 team is made up of around 800 members of staff. That is a crazy number, especially when you consider it's 200 more than the amount of people who worked on 2012's Resident Evil 6, which at the time was Capcom's biggest project to date. So if you were under the impression that Resi 2 was a quick and easy remaster where new graphics were just layered over old code, you could not be more wrong.
The original Resi 2 didn't have the best dialogue, to put it mildly.
Who are you? Oh, you must be the new guy.
Okay, it was kind of bad.
Sorry, but it looks like your party has been cancelled.
Oh, right, it was awful. But the remake gives the script a much needed rewrite, fleshing out characters and their motivations. For instance, in the original, when you first meet Sherry, she says, "Ah!" But in the remake, she says,
"You need help."
Redirecting the fear at you and making her appear less of a helpless child. It's an example of how a small tweak can go a long way into giving characters depth. Sort of like the way I subtly changed my morning greetings at work to give people the impression I have a personality. The interaction with Robert Kendo is way more convincing than it was too, thanks to voice actors that are able to actually convey convincing emotion. Such a shame he's doomed to be eaten alive.
Freeze! Who are you? What are you doing here?
Don't move. I'm not gonna hurt you.
I said don't move.
Such a shame he's doomed to be eaten alive.
I love outfits. In fact, I'm wearing one right now. And so I love the fact that there are alternative get-ups in Resi 2. Both main characters have their classic costumes in the game available to unlock. Leon gets his shoulder pads, and Claire is reunited with her sleeveless jacket. Don't get too attached to your threads though. Fancy new 21st century graphics tech means if you wade through sewer water, they'll get dirty. And getting attacked stains them with blood. And you'll definitely end up in a sewer and get mauled in this game. Grab either the game's deluxe edition or collector's edition, and you'll get 5 more costumes, including military gear, an old school detective look complete with a noir filter, and Claire's bikie gear. The last one is an homage to Elza Walker, a motorbike racing uni student who was intended to be the main character in Resi 2, before Capcom designed Claire of course. I can't imagine that these are going to be the only alternative outfits in the game though. Leon dresses Evel Knievel? A girl can dream, can't she?
We'll end on one of those fun little touches that makes the game just a little bit more impressive, and that's what happens when you go up against the tyrant known as Mr. X. Check it out, you can completely knock off his little hat. He may be invincible, but the loss of his favourite headwear's got to register on some emotional level. It's all about the small victories, I think. His trench coat will also bear the marks of every bullet you shoot at him, and he'll be suitably scorched when you set him on fire too. You'd probably get more reaction from punching a post box, granted, but we just know when he gets home he's going to be like, oh, I really like that coat.
So there we go, 12 amazing touches that are going to make Resident Evil 2 a truly special survival horror game when it launches on January 25th. You can add an amazing touch yourself by clicking the like button on this video, by clicking the subscribe button, and ultimately clicking the alert button for more videos like this one. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.